What is going on, you guys? My name is Marcus, and you're watching Roads Untraveled. Today is a little bit of a different video. In front of me here is the 2019 Chevy Colorado ZR2 in bright blue. It's got a bunch of cool off-roading features on the inside and outside. We're going to show you all of that today, so let's go for a drive.
I've been punished for one last time. No more falls and no more climb. I don't want to be the shadow of the bigger picture. It makes me shallow. So I'm gonna stay out of the midnight shine against the night sky. Fight back and never go hide. I'm gonna stay right on the bright side. Stay out of the midnight shine against the night sky. Fight back and never go hide. I'm gonna stay right on the bright side.
All right, so this is the Colorado ZR2. Now, what separates it from the base Colorado are a number of off-roading items that we will be going through throughout this video. To start with, it has been spec'd in this bright blue. It has the naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 under the hood, making 308 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. You know, it's a very mildly mannered engine, naturally aspirated, good throttle response. You can also spec it with a 4-cylinder turbo diesel if you want to go that route. It's a little bit torquier, but does have less power. So we're going to get into all the off-roading features. It's got some really cool capabilities, and I really believe, you guys, that this is pretty much as close as anybody's gotten to competing against the Ford Raptor, although obviously this is about half the price. This is $50,000 Canadian as optioned. So we're going to get it on the road, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what sets this apart from the base Colorado.
So I'm gonna stay out of the midnight shine against the night sky. Fight back and never go hide. Out of the midnight shine.
Here we are, 2019 ZR2 from Chevrolet. You know, 308 horsepower is not all that bad. First things first though, this thing looks great. I think more and more manufacturers should absolutely be coming out with trucks in this class. Obviously, Ford just recently brought out the Ranger, the new Ranger, over here to North America from the Australian market. Now, I say new Ranger, it's not the new Ranger. Australia has had it for a long time. So compared to this, it might feel a little bit dated, but we'll have to save that comparison for another day. Here in the ZR2, life is good. Life is honestly really good. It comes in this awesome kinetic blue metallic paint. That's a $500 option. This truck fully loaded with options out the door as it sits right now as we're driving it, $50,000 Canadian. Not too bad, considering the hardware you're getting. So as I mentioned, you have this new multi-spool valve suspension technology underneath. Really good, really great. Honestly, the Ford Raptor and this, I believe, are the only two trucks in the market today with this kind of multi-spool valve technology for the dampening. Now, what that does is basically it's very dynamic. It makes real-world adjustments based on whether you're on the street or if you're actually jumping this truck. Yes, there are plenty of videos online already of this truck jumping. So basically, this and the Ford Raptor are almost the only two trucks that are kind of not advertised as being fully off-road capable and ready to hit the desert and maybe a couple of small jumps. Now, you might think, hey, well, that would make a great comparison. Is this the Raptor killer? Is this a head-to-head competitor with the Raptor? No, it is not. First off, this is literally half the price of a Ford Raptor. This is $50,000. A brand new Ford Raptor will, in fact, set you back right around $100,000 Canadian, which is a lot, and it has a lot more horsepower. But what the Colorado ZR2 lacks in power and size, it makes up in features. We'll get into that. So you actually have one of the only trucks on the market that has both front and rear independently locking differentials, which is amazing. Whether you're in the sand, you want to lock the rear diff, two-wheel drive, pull off some drifts in the mud, in the gravel, whatever you may be driving on, or throw it in 4 low, hit the trails, and you can lock both differentials if you want. It's really awesome. There's, just a few buttons down here. This is basically all your utility buttons on the bottom row here. It's kind of a cheap plastic button solution, but it works. It's very simple. You've got hill descent, cruise control, you've got your trailer mode, and then you've got your locking differential buttons, traction off. And then on the left here, you can choose between 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. So the base Colorado starts actually at 27,000 Canadian, which for you Americans is like, I don't know, 20,000, 22,000 US dollars for a base Colorado. Now that is only 2-wheel drive, etc., and then you can build up your truck from there. I think if you're planning on going off-roading at all, or camping, or anything like that, and just want a badass looking, like, good sized small truck, the ZR2 is awesome. It's awesome. So it does have some power. 275 pound-feet of torque, even for a truck of this size, may not seem like a lot, and in all reality, it's not. This is not the torquiest engine. For that, you might want to get the 4-cylinder turbo diesel, but then again, if you do that, you say to your friends, hey, I've got this awesome new Colorado ZR2, but it's got a 4-cylinder. It's cool. It makes a crap ton of torque, almost 400 pound-feet of torque with that motor, but I like this V6. The thing that stands out to me, though, is this is so close to being a mini Raptor that the aftermarket is going to have so much fun. I think brands like Hennessy and other performance brands, I don't mean to single out Hennessy, but other performance brands in the aftermarket are really going to get a handle on this if people start buying these, because this engine is desperately begging for a Roots-style supercharger on here. I can just imagine this V6, which has, a decent growl to it. It's not too loud. It could be louder, but it has a decent growl to it. It's got that linear NA power band, so just stick a Roots blower on it. You get that supercharger whine, and then you could say bring it from 308 horsepower, where it's at now, to right around 400 with a mild supercharger and pulley setup, which I think would make this truck a whole lot of fun. I cannot imagine this truck with 400 horsepower, or I could, and it would probably be as fun, if not more fun, than a Raptor, especially on the street, because the Raptor is so big. You really need a huge open space to have fun with a Raptor, whereas the Colorado ZR2 is, it's nimble. And that brings me to my next point, which is the steering in this truck and the way it handles on the street. Now, you may notice we're not off-roading this truck. Here at Roads Untraveled, we're, for the most part, sports car enthusiasts. This is a driving channel for sports cars, supercars, and things of that nature. Now, when a truck comes along like this that's cool, or like a Raptor, we've driven both gen Raptors on the channel, and I took a 6.2-liter Raptor off-road very briefly in the mud. That was a lot of fun. So that's why basically we're on the street, and it handles very well on the street. I think this dampening technology, spool valve technology that Chevy GM is using in this truck is, state-of-the-art technology that has basically trickled down from the 2014 and 2015 Camaro Z28, which was the first GM product to actually use this suspension technology. So recently we drove the Chevy 1500 Z71 Trail Boss. Huge truck. I mean, that's like a small truck, but it feels huge. Trucks are really big here in 2019. And that truck and most others like it have very lethargic, kind of slow steering, whereas this Colorado is super nimble right off the line. You barely have to move your hands off the wheel in day-to-day steering. It's very nice, and it makes taking the corners and when you're on the trail or something, going at a little bit higher speeds, you don't have to wrestle with the wheel. It's very, very connected, and something that I haven't really felt all that much in any modern trucks. So this is fitted with an 8-speed automatic transmission, giving the Colorado ZR2 a combined fuel economy rating here in Canada of 14.1 liters per 100 kilometers. It's pretty good. Obviously, the 8-speed, like on the freeway, it's going to gear very high up and get those RPMs down, so you do save fuel. Here we're in low right now, so second gear, third gear. It's really fun. Even on this street, it kind of has that like Baja kind of feel. Like there's quite a bit of body roll. In fact, the ZR2 does cost a little bit more, but it has a 3.5 inch wider track width overall. And that's not just done with spacers. It actually has much longer axles, front and rear, that are actually stamped with the ZR2 logo. That's kind of cool too, but it's a proper wider track width on this truck. I mean, it's a totally different truck from the base Colorado. It really is. And GM has no trouble justifying this 50 grand price tag. In fact, for what you get, the capabilities you get, I think this is a pretty good steal, especially when you consider the used market a few years down the road.
Recently we filmed the 2019 Chevrolet Silverado Trail Boss. Now, honestly, I don't think I would ever buy that truck, but only for two reasons. Number one, living here in Vancouver, having a full-size truck of that size, it's just too impractical. Secondly, I was not a big fan of the actual design choices that they went with that truck. So it almost looked like a transformer. It had such a weird front end to it. But today we have the Colorado, and I think it's a perfect size, especially for here around the city. Not only that, the front end design that they went with here doesn't look too futuristic while still looking modern, being 2019. I think they absolutely nailed the design. And again, this is the ZR2 with the off-roading capabilities. So that kind of went into the design of the truck, as you can see. So as you can see in the front here, they've actually slimmed down the front end, giving you a better approach angle when you go off-roading. And this is something that I think that Chevy has done really well throughout their entire 2019 lineup. And that is to give you something that is really well thought out and well designed. But anyways, let's hop on the inside and take a look at a couple of the features. All right, so when you first step inside this truck, the first thing you might be thinking is this is just going to be a slimmed down, kind of smaller, miniature version of the Silverado. And honestly, I wish it was, because the Silverado was just a completely well thought out truck, and they had so much storage options. They had so many different design features that I absolutely loved. Unfortunately, I don't think this is necessarily the case, as there is definitely some features that you've seen carried over from the Silverado model. I find that the overall interior of this truck to feel a little bit on the cheap side in comparison. But with that, they have given you these switch style buttons. And I actually really like that design. But with these ones compared to the Silverado, I find they feel a little bit cheap. The plastic doesn't feel as sturdy, so it doesn't give you as much confidence every time you hit the button. Now with this Colorado, they've gone ahead and given you a wireless charging pad, which I think is almost a necessity being in 2019, giving you that wireless charging capability for your phone. Overall though, I think the pad's a little bit on the small side, and I really wish they would have put it here, giving you a little bit more space and more room for your phone to sit and rest. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, overall it fits well in the hand and it's a good size. Unfortunately, the button styling, it's something similar to the Equinox we just filmed, where it actually has this textile overlay versus having each individual button separate. Now, I really dislike this as it really makes it feel a lot cheaper, kind of like one of those cheap remotes you would use for an old cheap DVD player. But I mean, everything does work, so you can't complain too much. I just wish they went with the individual buttons for the steering wheel. Now, even on the side of the doors here, again, the plastic does seem to be a lot cheaper than the Silverado. And again, this car does cost quite a bit less. But that being said, especially being a truck that's going to be worked hard, you'd want some durability. And I just feel that this is going to scratch really easy. Now, something you might notice as soon as you try to turn on the car is they don't have the push button start. In fact, they've given you a physical key, which is almost unheard of here in 2019. Now, Chevrolet has equipped this truck with their new touchscreen infotainment system. And honestly, I think it works. It's easy to use. I'm not a big fan of the styling of buttons they've put below. But the biggest letdown in this truck, I have to say, is the backup camera. Now, Chevrolet so far has one of the best backup cameras that I've seen in comparison to any other 2019 model we've filmed so far. Unfortunately, with the Colorado, they only give you the one angle, versus the Equinox and the Silverado that we filmed, you have all the different angle choices, whether you want to be viewing from your mirror, to your wheel well, to the front bumper. With this, you're just stuck with the one. That being said, it is an HD video, and the quality is a lot better than some of the other cars that we've been filming. But anyways, let's hop back in the car with Marcus and finish up the review.
What you are paying for 100% with the ZR2, first off, are its looks, its good looks. Second, are its off-road capabilities and everything underneath. If you're just looking for a truck, you know, a crew cab, short box truck to haul the kids around, the family, go camping, occasionally, maybe once or twice in the summer, this might not be your best option just because there are more comfortable trucks in terms of interior features and comforts go. But as far as an off-road truck that's ready to get dirty and that's durable on the inside here, might not be the most luxurious, but it is going to be pretty durable. I think it's a great option, and more importantly, I think this is the perfect size truck because you won't really be limited on the type of trails you can take it on, for instance. Power really starts picking up, kind of 5,000 to 7,000 RPM. Does have variable valve timing on this V6 as well. And we actually popped the hood, and I was very surprised with how far back and how close to the firewall they managed to squeeze this V6. I mean, a 3.6 liter NA V6 isn't exactly a big engine, not at least for a truck. It's pretty small actually, but it almost sits behind the front axle, which is pretty remarkable. And I guess that really does aid in the weight distribution of the truck and its ability to take jumps. And yes, you guys, we might not be jumping this truck today, but there are plenty of videos on YouTube and around the internet of other people, not only press people, but owners taking their ZR2 off some mild jumps. And they survive. Maybe not quite as well as a Raptor will do, but this weighs less than a Raptor, so it's kind of a give or take. It rides pretty nice on the road, nothing to complain about. It's a truck, it's stiff, that's what trucks are. But as far as cornering goes, I'm very impressed. This could beat a few of the lesser built up modified cars that we've featured on this channel before, absolutely. I mean, it really pains me to say, but this could probably beat a few cars I've driven recently out here in the twisties. Overall, you guys, in terms of a utilitarian truck that's focus is on fun, first and foremost, and kind of being an exciting package, I think it's a great buy. At 50 grand Canadian, I think this is an awesome buy, especially in a world nowadays where trucks are like so expensive. The ZR2 gives you something that a lot of trucks don't give you nowadays, which is excitement. And I just can't wait to see what the aftermarket does with this truck. It already comes with a 5 centimeter lift from the factory Colorado, and it also comes with 265 wide tires all the way around, as well as these Wrangler off-road tires with the ZR2. So that also comes with the package. It is also fitted, this one in particular, with the towing package and everything like that. So you do have as big of a trailer capacity as you can actually have with the Colorado in this truck. Now, this is a pretty bumpy road. It handles it very well. It soaks up bumps. Pretty amazing, to be frank with you. It doesn't bounce around as most trucks do. It really soaks it up, especially in the corners. There's some nice body roll. Not too much, though. Good connection to the tires. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's so much more fun than the Trail Boss Z71, just because it's smaller, It's a good sized truck. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this review on the Colorado ZR2 V6. God, I keep wanting to hear that supercharger whine. I cannot wait until somebody does that. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Hit me up on Instagram at Untraveled if you want to check out what we're filming on a day-to-day basis and kind of some behind-the-scenes stuff, shenanigans we're getting up to. We'll be coming out with a few other new car reviews, as well as some big modified car reviews as well, big turbo cars. Look out for that, and we'll see you guys next time.